Hello, Facebook. Welcome to our book studio. Happy Friday. We have the HarperCollins Library Marketing team here with us, and they're going to tell you a little bit about some of the authors that they are bringing to the American Library Association conference in just a few weeks in New Orleans.
Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm Virginia Stanley. Who are you?
I'm Chris Connolly.
Who are you?
Hi.
Look it.
Yes, I know. We can't help ourselves.
I'm Lainey Mays, and I didn't coordinate. I'm sorry.
We didn't call you last night. Chris and I called each other. What are you wearing? What are you wearing?
Going for the checks.
Going for the checks. So, hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We are going to head down to New Orleans in a couple of weeks, less than 2 weeks, to the American Library Association. They hold their annual conference in the summer, their midwinter conference in the winter. And so this year's annual conference will be held in New Orleans. And so we bring a lot of authors, and we have a lot of authors signing in our booth, speaking at events. We also do a title presentation. If you're going to ALA and you want a schedule of everything that we're doing at our booth, who's coming to our booth, go to librarylovefest.com, where you can also view our video trailer enticing people to come to our book buzz. And it's like nothing you've ever seen before, trust me. And if you're not going to ALA, I'm sorry, but one of the things we're doing, in addition to having authors come to the booth and sign at events, speak at events, is we're doing a title presentation, as we always do, on Saturday morning. So for those of you who are attending, please go to librarylovefest.com. You need to let us know if you want to come. And if you're not attending ALA, we're sorry, but our title presentation will be audio recorded and up probably during ALA or a day after. Mm-hmm. So it'll be on Library Love Fest. So you'll hear us talking for a good hour and a half about books that are coming out in the fall and the winter 2019. So there you go. So what we're doing today is talking about authors who are coming to ALA. So just to give you a sneak peek and let you know when they'll be at our booth or what they're doing. So if you're around and you want to come meet them and say hello, please do. So, what? You want to say something?
No, I was a little overeager, but
Oh!
before we get talking...
Ugh, what's wrong with me?
Yeah,
I'm sober.
It is 10:30.
Oh my God! How did they get away from me without any booze?
We have a lovely Cab Franc, Anjou Villageoise.
God bless you.
Why, thank you. So I think it's going to be funky, fresh, fruity, but dry at the same time. That's my impression, at least. I'll let you guys know.
Just pour the wine.
Sassy pants. Let's see.
Sassy pants.
Let's see
Sassy
if it's funky.
pants. Me. Let's see if it's funky.
No. Tasty.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Well, then pour it on, sailor.
All right, here we are. As far as talking about our authors, should we go in sequential order? What's our
I don't know.
attack?
I haven't slept at all. I can't make a decision. Lainey, drink that.
Okay.
Are we done? You know what? It doesn't matter. I think it's just like a free-for-all, but I think I'd like to start with the Happy Cookbook because I'm feeling super happy.
Yes.
And we have a fun book out called The Happy Cookbook by Steve and Kathy Ducey. Now, I don't have a jacket yet. I don't know, Scooter, if you can zoom in on that. But we're pretty excited to have this husband-wife team at ALA. So one of the things that happens at ALA is they have a cooking stage, and authors can demo a recipe. Usually they'll do something fairly easy so it's transportable and it's not a big thing, but they have the mirror up above so you can see what they're doing. They talk you through it. We had Diane Mott Davidson one year do it. We had Stephanie Ivanovich do it. It's a lot of fun, and it's right on the show floor. So if you're around and you want to hear and meet Steve and Kathy Ducey and hear them talk about their book, The Happy Cookbook, come by. So they're going to be at the cooking stage on Saturday from 12:30 to 1, and also signing at the HarperCollins booth from 11 to 12. So, Steve Ducey is the Emmy Award-winning television personality and journalist. He's with Fox and Friends, and they are just blowing it out of the water. They had the highest-rated year in network history in 2017, and it had 1.5 million viewers. He's very funny. We saw a video of him. He's really charming, and these recipes are so sweet. I so wanted to make this hamburger cookie recipe today, but I didn't have time. But we will do another episode soon where we all make something. We did that once before called Mysteries and Munchies, and that was a lot of fun. But this looks like super fun, and I was showing my little neighbors across the hallway last night in my apartment in Astoria, Queens. And they said, oh, hamburger cookies, we want those. So look how fun they are, and they look so easy to make. And so this is full color photos, recipes. He's got a lot of celebrity friends, naturally, and they are, some of them are also submitting recipes for the cookbook. So there's Kid Rock submits something, and golfer Greg Norman has a recipe in there. Anyway, there's some really good sounding things in here. I highlighted some. Naturally, the hamburger cookies are going to be...
That's a Kid Rock favorite.
You think?
I think so.
Cookie.
Probably so. There's Egg McDoocy. So there's appetizers, breakfast, soup, salad, sides. The everyday entrees. This one caught my eye. Dental hygienist's pot roast. I am totally want to make that. Greg Norman's mom's crispy, crackling roast pork.
Ooh.
Isn't that great? And Dr. Oz's spiced mashed sweet potatoes with pomegranates. And of course the hamburger cookies. So this is coming out in October. So more on this to come, but please stop by and meet them because I really can't wait to meet them. They just seem like a lot of fun. Okay, somebody else go.
All right, I'll talk. One book that came out last year, which was really cool, and we're so happy to have him joining us at ALA, is Jason Fagone, The Woman Who Smashed Codes. So Jason's coming to ALA because this book was actually selected by RUSA as a notable book of nonfiction for 2018. So that's a huge honor and very much deserving. This is very much in the vein of Hidden Figures, where you have these stories that you can't believe have never been told, but somehow they haven't. Oftentimes because it's either a woman or a person of color, and these voices just have not been heard until now, until they've been unveiled. So it's a huge deal, and we're so happy about it. The trade paperback's going to be coming out very soon, I think in a couple months, actually. So he is going to be joining us for a panel on Sunday, June 24th, from 8 to 10 a.m., and then he's going to be signing in our booth from 10:30 to 11:30. So really excited to meet him. And if you're unfamiliar with this book, it follows Elizabeth Smith, who is the wife of William Friedman. Everyone usually knows, if you're familiar with code breaking, William Friedman, but his wife, Elizabeth, was also a brilliant code breaker who contributed a multitude of different contributions as far as code breaking in World War I and II. She was just a vital part of the Allied efforts to code break the Germans and the Japanese. It was a really incredible woman, but it also is a very human-driven story in her relationship, not only with William Friedman, but also just taking on all the incredible pressure that she was placed on her. It's totally engrossing. It's a brilliant story. It received a great star review from Booklist when this came out last year. Booklist called it riveting, inspiring, and rich and colorful characters. Fagone's extensively researched and utterly dazzling title is popular history at its very best and a book club natural. Listen to them. This book is amazing. Oh no, I slammed the table too hard.
Oh, your passion.
You
I have a
smashed the
passion.
table.
Oh,
Man,
smash
you
the table. Smash the table.
Smash the table, because I love the book.
You
The
did
Woman
that
Who
on
Smashed Codes.
purpose.
The man who
Yes, thank
smashed
you.
tables.
Thank you,
The
Lainey.
man who smashed tiki huts.
So come see us, get a book signed, or again, if you're not joining us, tears, just go out. Go to your library, check it out.
Also, when you go to Library Love Fest to watch our crazy video, there's a printable sheet of everything that we're talking about, the entire schedule for the HarperCollins shenanigans. So, there. I wanted to say something else and now I've forgotten. Lady, why don't you talk? Maybe I'll remember.
Okay.
Oh, I know. Let's drink.
Oh, okay.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Good morning.
Good morning. Anybody got some Captain Crunch to go with this vino?
Do you remember?
It was a very good year.
Do you remember? You want
That
me
was
to
it.
go?
I wanted to.
Oh.
I remembered that I
Good.
sound machines are part of our book buzz, just FYI. Go.
Okay, I want to talk about Dear America by Jose Antonio Vargas. He is a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist and filmmaker. He won the Pulitzer Prize for his coverage of the Virginia Tech shooting. But he also is a CEO of Define American, which is a nonprofit that tells immigrant stories and kind of puts a more humane spin on what maybe just might be a statistic. So it tells these stories. But he is also probably the most well-known American illegal immigrant. And he didn't even know that he was not an American citizen until he was much older. He came here from the Philippines when he was 12. And his documentation, he had everything. He didn't think it was going to be a big deal, and then he went to get his driver's license and he found out everything was fake. So he really is risking everything by coming out and kind of standing up for all of these immigrants who don't have documentation, and he really is a voice for them. So he's lovely. I met him last week, and he's just so earnest. I'm so excited to talk to him some more. But so this book, Define American, is an investigation into the immigrant experience and how that works, but also a love letter to America. And I have a quote from him saying that after 25 years of living illegally in a country that does not consider me one of its own, this book is the closest thing I have to freedom. And I think that's beautiful. He's going to be a speaker at the President's Program annual, and that's on Sunday the 24th at 3. And it's going to be something that everybody's going to want to check out, and he just has such a cool story on his own, but he's really dedicated to telling everybody else's story and giving them a name. So,
and that's a huge distinction to have one of our authors speaking at the ALA President's Program. And as Lainey said, she met him. We both met him together, and he was just dynamic, dynamic and authentic. Right? Yeah. When you say, I mean, it was just like, oh my God, you're so present and so just has a great message. And so we're really looking forward to hearing what he has to say. Also, we're having bound manuscripts made specifically for ALA. So the gallery's not even out yet, but so the publisher is really behind this as well. So I don't know, it's really exciting. He's a force. If you can make it, you should please go, because I think it's going to be a treat for everyone. With strong, powerful messages. Especially now, anytime, but okay, you've heard us talk about The Real Lolita many times. I feel like it should be out by now, but it's not coming out until September. But oh my God, The Real Lolita, Sarah Weinman. So we met Sarah Weinman during Book Expo, and it was so thrilling because we've been talking about this book for forever, it feels like. Because we can't stop talking about it. And so many people went up to her and said, oh my God, I've read this book, and she was visibly moved. So this is The Kidnapping of Sally Horner and the novel that scandalized the world, Lolita. It's an investigation into this 1948 abduction of this 11-year-old girl, Sally Horner. And it's not a lot of people know about this, that this is the subject of Lolita, which it inspired, the real-life case inspired the book. And no one can do this better than Sarah Weinman, because she knows and writes mysteries, writes of mysteries. She's a mystery maven, and I don't say that lightly. I mean, this woman has been in the publishing world. She's a reporter, a freelance writer, a critic. She has her own publications about women writers, mystery writers. She knows her stuff, and so this is treated very respectfully, but with incredible investigative research. She dives deep, but it's also a compelling read. So you're not just rifling through pages of files and stuff. I mean, it's really put together so in such a very compelling way. And in fact, she is speaking at the American Library Association's program. It's the United for Libraries, is a division of the American Library Association, and they are amazing. This is a great group, and they're hosting a program called Reads Like Fiction, nonfiction that reads like fiction, and that's this book. So if you're coming to ALA, again, you can get all this stuff on Library Love Fest, but she'll be there on Saturday. That program's from 2:30 to 3:30. She's also signing in the HarperCollins booth, same day from 1 to 2. What can I tell you? I think that this book speaks for lots of women, lots of girls. You know, it echoes the stories of so many girls who this happened to, who were abducted. But again, I would say in the most respectful way and the smartest way. And I just can't say enough about this book. So we are publishing this on the 60th anniversary of Lolita's publication in the United States. Also, side note, these butterflies here are drawn by Nabokov. He was a butterfly enthusiast. So anyway, that's that. That's The Real Lolita by Sarah Weinman. What else do I have to say? I don't know. I could read you quotes, but, you know, we've talked about this book a million times. You just have to come see her. She's amazing.
I guess the only thing worth mentioning, so Stephanie Anderson, amazing all-star librarian. We're at Book Expo, which feels like we just wrapped up. We did just wrap it up. There's a panel that's called Shout and Share, where librarians choose, you know, a handful of books that they've found out about recently or through Book Expo, and they shout them out because they're super excited about them. And this was a book that garnered a ton of librarian excitement. So the reads are there. It's not just us talking. It's becoming a thing.
Yes,
it's
thanks, Chris.
snowballing.
That's true.
And
Shout
just
and
to
Share.
back you guys up there, sorry. We have Elizabeth commenting saying she saw Sarah talk at Book Expo and made it a mission to get this arc. She's going to start reading it this weekend.
Yeah.
Very
So,
cool.
It's not
Now,
just these guys.
Chris is right. What's cool about that Shout and Share is that it's hosted by Library Journal. Wilda Williams was the moderator. She held it up. What's really, I think, compelling about that is when you have this host of, your panelists, and when they all agree on something, they all hold the book up, and it just is this visual that just really drives, as Chris says, drives it home. I mean, everybody who's reading this loves this. Thank you. I forgot to mention that.
No problem.
All right. Christopher for the win.
Yay.
Laney for the win. Red wine for breakfast for the win.
Let me ride that momentum with another super cool author who's coming, Jill Shalvis, who is a beloved romance author, and then she subsequently entered kind of the women's fiction genre and also knocked it out of the park. This is Lost and Found Sisters, which is a big deal. That came out, I believe, last year and received tons of critical acclaim. Jill Shalvis is a New York Times best-selling author. She's actually coming to ALA for a United for Libraries romance panel, which is going to be on Sunday at 10:30, and then she's signing at our booth from 12 to 1. So, again, she's a beloved romance author. That's what she was initially best known for. So we have The Trouble with Mistletoe, I believe, is what we have here. Oh, excuse me, this is Hot Winter Nights, which is coming in September. So not very far away. So this is a great romance. If you know Jill Shalvis, you know she does great, like, small towns, tightly knit, very interesting, quirky characters. This follows that path. Don't be scared by the snow. It's going to be hot. You'll be wishing for snow anyway. So it's a great kind of Christmas book about a very, again, quirky duo. This woman who runs her own kind of like PI agency, private investigator, and this man that she had a kind of a one night. They both have been long time kind of lusting after each other. But they had one steamy night that the guy actually doesn't fully remember. But it's, again, really fun, interesting, weird, strange characters, but the community is so well developed, and all the characters are as well. And then again, with her women's fiction, Lost and Found Sisters, which was a huge deal, and now with her follow-up, Rainy Day Friends, again, follows that kind of small town. There's a little... basically, this woman finds out that her late husband left behind not just her, but many other women. So he was a serial adulterer, and that just completely shatters her whole perspective on her life. So she moves away and kind of tries to reset everything. But a stranger comes to town who might kind of disrupt her newfound peace and solidarity. So she's amazing. I'm really excited to meet her. She's, again, just an all-star in the romance and now women's fiction realm. So, again, check this out. Rainy Day Friends is coming. Actually, it's on sale now, so beautiful. Run out, buy it. I do have the book out, yes. And then this is very, very close. So, that's Jill Shalvis.
It's not new to sound.
Woohoo.
Nice.
That's a sound that Jill deserves.
I was
think.
going to do the pogo stick, but I thought I should just stop fooling around.
Do we want to continue in the romance?
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Ooh, another big deal.
So, another big one. Alyssa Cole, who is a huge romance writer. Her novellas Let It Shine and Let Us Dream were both finalists for the Rita Awards. Her futuristic romance Mixed Signals won the Romantic Times Reviewer Choice Award in 2015. She's huge. She's big in the community. She founded and hosted the Jefferson Market Library Romance Book Club. That's a mouthful. And taught romance writing for beginners. She's contributed to a lot of articles and wrote for the Romance Writers Report. She has all of the accolades. I don't have to go into all of it. She's big. She's a great voice for diverse romance titles and the big advocate for diversity in the romance genre. So, Alyssa Cole, she'll be at ALA, and this book, A Princess in Theory, is really fun. I have to get the names because I always say it incorrectly, and no matter how many times I try. So I'm going to get their names. Okay, so this follows, oh my goodness, I can't read. This follows Naladi. She is a overworked graduate student. She has many jobs. She's a waitress. She's doing a lot of different things to kind of get herself through grad school, and she keeps getting these kind of spam messages saying that she is the crowned prince of a community in Africa, his betrothed, and she just keeps saying like, oh, that's spam, I'm not going to pay any attention to that. And then finally they won't leave her alone. They're like, please send us your contact information, we'd love to get together. And I think she sends the message of like, F you a little bit to them, like leave me alone.
But our show just went blue.
Yes. So the prince the prince that is betrothed to her, he decides to come to America and actually find her because it turns out that it's actually true. She moved to America when she was young. Her parents fled from this country, but she grew up an orphan, and she was in the foster care system of New York. So while she's going through all that, she really doesn't even know her background, and these spam messages are actually true. So he comes over to kind of find her, and she thinks he is just Jamal, the new worker at the restaurant that she works at, and he kind of gets to know her through that, and it comes out that she's actually going to be a princess. So it's described as Princess Diaries, which is close to my heart, and meets Coming to America. And actually there's a really great quote from Meg Cabot, the newly coronated queen of contemporary royal romance. So we're really excited about Alyssa coming. She's a knockout, and she's going to be signing in our booth from 4 to 5 on Saturday the 23rd.
That's such a great setup. And again, for me, I come across a lot of authors and hype based on Twitter. If you just look at Twitter and search an author, you can get a feel for what people are saying. All the romance fanatics, Alyssa is she's top class, just amazing, just really an author to know. So, and we're super excited to have her. So,
yeah. I heard an interview online about this book, and she's very passionate about the story, and it's a lot of fun. And she's a great talker, much like Sarah McLean, who I think is kind of they're friends, and she's featured in Sarah McLean's articles a lot. So she can really speak to the genre itself, and she teaches it. So I think she really knows everything about it.
So speaking of Sarah McLean and Stephanie Anderson,
Bring it full
where
circle.
you bring it full circle with the love, back to Library Love Fest. There is a little tile on there where you can see a bunch of our not old videos, but archived videos. And Stephanie Anderson from Book Ops here in New York interviewed Sarah McLean right here in this very studio, and it was such a love fest because as what's your name? Lainey said, Sassy Pants says they know each other on a personal level, which makes which always makes an interview or any kind of conversation that much more intimate, I think, and just very, very cool. And so anyway, if you want to watch that, it was a Facebook Live, but if you guys want to watch that, go check that out. Just go on Library Love Fest and click the click the little tile that says Facebook or video archives,
Yeah.
and you'll see it there. It was just, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, so you don't have to scroll down too far. But it was very cool listening to the two of them talk about romance. If you're a big romance fan,
They're in the zone.
Yeah.
They had a great conversation about the genre in general.
They're both hyper smart too, so
Oh
they
my
cover
God.
a wide breadth of topics, and it's
yeah.
enlightening.
We didn't
Yeah.
want to end the conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're brilliant women, really. So I'd love to hang out with smart people. It makes me feel better about myself. All right, where are we at? Want to talk about Summer Hours at the Robbers Library by Sue Halpern? Have you heard of this little book? Perhaps you have. If you haven't, I don't know. I can't even say anything because I know that you have all heard about it because it came out in February, and it is this wonderful novel by Sue Halpern, who is a journalist, and her stuff has appeared in Rolling Stone and the New Yorker and the New York Review of Books and Condé Nast Traveler. She's brilliant. She has other books out. A Dog Walks into a Nursing Home was the book that she published right before this one. So this one is set in a library. Why are we talking about this? Because Booklist is hosting the Carnegie Awards at the American Library Association, and they have asked Sue Halpern to be the speaker at this event. This is a glorious event. Was it last year? Was it last year in Chicago?
That.
When was ALA in Chicago? Last year?
Yeah, last year.
All right. Sarah Paretsky delivered the speech. There are hundreds of people in this room, and it's just a moment. You know, it's just a beautiful event. It's a great celebration of the awards, and then to have an author get up there and speak to this crowd. I can't wait to hear what she has to say because libraries are near and dear to her heart. She's a brilliant writer, and she's got a heart the size of Kansas. She actually is the founder of a library in the town of Johnsburg. That was the first public library in one of the most rural communities in New York State. If you go to Edelweiss, the Edelweiss page for this book, you can read this two really cool articles by and about her and this initiative that she took to start this library because it needed it. This town needed it. There were no books. So she's and that was like 20 years ago, and it's still thriving, and it's still making an impact on this community, and that's because of her. So anyway, this came out as paperback. There's a hardcover edition available. I'm sure you all know about this, but if you don't, it is about a bunch of people that take place in a public library in New Hampshire, Riverton, New Hampshire. So you meet this head librarian named Kit, and she has a past, doesn't want to talk about it, thinks, oh, let's work in this library and just live my life and keep my head down. Then you enter this 15-year-old kid, Sunny, who is raised kind of off the grid. Her parents are, they're just unplugged, and so she's raised by them. But she's a smart kid. She's a really smart, precocious but not annoying, precocious, smart, endearing young girl who steals a dictionary. Who steals a dictionary? This kid does. And she's punished by having to work the summer at the library, except she doesn't see this as a punishment at all. She says this is the best thing that could have happened to her. And then there's this other group of guys who keep going to the library, and they're older, they're retired, but one guy is there, and he used to be on Wall Street and lost his job. So you have all these people and a lot of things going on with this kid, and certainly something going on with Kit. And so it's sort of like an intersection of their lives, and it all takes place in and around the library. Not everything is in the library, but it's kind of like the hub. It's like their cultural hub, their personal hub, their social hub, and it's just so good. I love this book. I'm not the only one. Booklist gave it a starred review. I am going to read this review because it's Donna Seaman, who writes like put a pen in her hand. She's a magician. She's amazing. And this is what she says. Summer hours at the Robbers Library. Finely choreographed and lucidly told, Halpern infuses this tale of derailments and second chances with free-ranging empathy, lithe humor, and penetrating insights into the human psyche. Halpern is a discerning and sensitive novelist. Starred review from Booklist. One last quote, because I have to. Marilyn Johnson, who wrote This Book is Overdue, which was, the book on the world of libraries. says, sometimes the best stories in the library aren't found on its shelves. They're walking through its doors and congregating by the reference desk. Sue Halpern knows this and mines the setting for comic and tragicomic gold. Nothing else to say except if you're going to ALA and you want to go to the Carnegie Awards, it's on Saturday from 8 to 10. It's a ticketed event. Give us a call. We'll see what we can do. She's also signing in the HarperCollins booth from 9 to 10 on Sunday, the next morning. So anyway, that's Sue Halpern, and she's a rock star.
And Carla's asking when the release date is, and this one is available now, right?
It's available now, yes.
So add that to your TBR list, Carla.
Indeed.
Who's going now?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. All right. Wait. Winner.
On 3.
Winner talks or winner doesn't.
I'm not
talk?
doing this because I never
You get to
understood how to
pick.
do it.
The winner gets to pick.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Gotcha. All right. I'll go.
Well, that was
You know
fun.
what? Actually, no, I'm joking. All right. I've talked about this book probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 times on Facebook Live, but I don't care because I want you all to read it, and it's an important book and a big book for us. Well, the title's not on there. It's Lou Berney, November Road. This is a galley. It doesn't have the final jacket on there, which I wish I had a blow-up of. It's quite beautiful. A young girl just kind of in a car window. I'm trying to help you visualize the jacket. I don't know, that's maybe a failing.
And it has like the newsprint about the assassination
of JFK. Yes, because this is a thriller, but it's also a road book. It's there's a little bit of romance. It's just a wonderful, warm but very thrilling book set against the assassination of JFK, and follows two very unlikely characters. One is Frank. He's a street lieutenant in New Orleans who works for this kind of major mob boss. And he's in Dallas and just taking a job for this Carlos Marcello, who's the mob boss. And he starts to suspect that he might have inadvertently become involved with the JFK assassination. So it's this kind of fun play on, not fun, but it's a play on history, kind of, conspiracy theory with JFK assassinations. But Frank is, convinced that he contributed to this. And so he's on the run. He's convinced he's like the last loose thread and he's going to be snuffed out by Carlos. So he's kind of dashing across America. And in the meantime, you meet Charlotte, who is this young mother of 2. Her husband is a drunk. He's not a horrible person, but he's just worthless. He can't get over his addiction. So she takes her 2 daughters and sets off on the road and is on the way to California. And in the 60s, a single mother on the road anywhere is like a very, touchy subject. It's not considered proper. But she's finding herself, and she's such a wonderful character because she felt very closed in her small life previously, and then she sets on the road with her daughters, and she starts to find herself. I love Charlotte as a character. She'll stick with you. So read this book, find her. But essentially what happens is their paths cross. Frank tries to use Charlotte and the 2 daughters as a cover because he's being chased by this super scary kind of assassin. So I kind of think of this as a warmer No Country for Old Men, if you've ever read that book by Cormac McCarthy or seen the film by the Coen brothers, one of my favorite of all time. But that's a very chilly story. This is warm, thrilling, as you kind of follow these characters. Again, they're in a very dangerous situation, but really the joy of this novel is seeing how these 2 interact and how they find each other. And just as some background, Lou, this is our lead read pick for fall of 2018. That's our program where each season our sales staff votes on one title that we think has the greatest chance for commercial and critical success. We did that with The Nest, News of the World by Paulette Giles, The Women in the Castle by Jessica Shattuck, what else? Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz, amongst others. So it's an awesome program, and I think we know what we're doing when we vote on these. So this is our pick, and we think just Lou needs to be blown out because he wrote The Long and Far Away Gone. That was his previous book, for which he won like every award you can win: the Edgar, the McCavity, the Anthony Award, the Barry Award, amongst others. He's just a revered critically acclaimed author, but we really want to blow him out because this is just that sweet spot of like it's commercial, but it's also has just the literary kind of character study. It's a wonderful book. It's one of my favorites I've read like in the past year at least. So he will be joining us on Monday at ALA for a booth signing. That's Monday, June 25th from 11 to 12. And then he's participating in an author toast panel from 2 to 4 that same day, which I believe is ticketed as well.
Yeah.
But if you're attending,
Just call us. We'll
yeah,
figure it out.
give us a ring.
United for Libraries.
United for Libraries, yeah, sponsored by United for Libraries, our favorites. And again, I wish I had the jacket, I'm sorry, but this is the galley. This is what he'll be signing. He has this crazy, amazing quote by Don Winslow, the Don Winslow, that says, "November Road is a remarkable and unforgettable reading experience. Lou Berney is a writer to be read and admired. This is a staggeringly brilliant book and a flat-out terrific read." That's Don Winslow, author of The Force, The Cartel. So, yes, come see him. Or if you're not attending, email me about getting a galley, because I just want to get eyes on this book, because I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So,
But how do you really feel about it?
it disgusts
It's all right.
me.
He's also a lovely person.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all. Can I just say? I think we're all a little in love with him.
Little crush.
I think we have a little crush
Just
on
a
him.
crush. I don't know. That's the only line I know from that song.
What song is that?
A simple touch. I can't believe I'm singing on live video stream. Michael, our host, is probably fighting back
I got a crush
some
on
not
you.
so kind words.
Anyway,
Just a
he's
little.
he's lovely. Michael is lovely, but Lou Berney is a super sweet guy. I mean, we spent time with him in Philadelphia at the Public Library Association, where he this guy did everything to get there through horrific snowstorm. And he wasn't giving up. I mean, literally, he missed one event, but he made up the time, and he did an event at Book List. He signed at our booth. He absolutely lovely guy. And then again at Book Expo, and we're so psyched he's coming to ALA. And everything that Chris said, we feel the same way. He's a great writer. This is his time. And the jacket is so cool. So if you go to Edelweiss, I believe it's up there now, right?
It is. Yeah.
So go to Edelweiss, go to the page and type it in. So you go to Edelweiss, type in the November Road, Lou Berney, and be like, wah! And then there's the jacket, which is amazing. But also amazing is this behind the book piece that he wrote, which is on Edelweiss, and it's so good. You're going to love it. It's about his mother, and I loved it. Go read that. And then you'll want to read everything you ever read, because you'll fall in love with him, like we have.
Yes.
Human resources. Okay.
Okay, so the next one is a debut, When the Men Were Gone by Marjorie Herrera Lewis. This is a historical fiction, so it is a novel, but it's based on a true story. In 1944, in Brownsville, Texas, this woman who is an assistant principal at the high school just kind of sees all of these boys really graduating or not graduating and going off to war, because they're in the middle of World War II, and she sees the football program kind of going down and they don't have anyone to coach them. So she does her best to find a coach. She goes through quite a few people who just, everybody's gone, even the coach, so he's gone and they don't have anyone. So she goes through the town, anyone she can find, and nothing works out. So she decides that her dad taught her everything she knows about football growing up, and she can teach them. So she has to appeal to the board and to the school to get the rights to do this, and she faces a lot of challenges, and people are very prejudiced against this. But it's beautiful. She gets to know the kids, and it's so cool because it's a true story. This woman is someone in history you need to know about, we need to recognize, and Marjorie really gave her a great story and put her in the light where we know more about her. It's very cinematic when you're reading. I mean, I kind of thought of, like, Remember the Titans. You know, they're kind of going through all this adversity, and they're trying to find each other and kind of come together as a team, but you're rooting for them the whole time, not just in football, but to overcome this adversity. It's going to be a library hardcover as well, and there's information behind the book great for book clubs. It's also really great for crossover audience, so even some middle school or high school, I think it's going to be a great family read that has a lot of conversation around it. Marjorie's great. She came to TLA and signed books there, so we're excited to have her back. She's going to be at our booth on the 23rd from 2 to 3, but then she's also later that day speaking at First Author First Book from 4 to 5. I think this is, I don't know, it's so special. And she encouraged Marjorie, who is a journalist. She covered the Dallas Cowboys and all of these cool things in her journalist days, but it inspired her to become a football coach. So now she's coaching football. Yeah, it's great. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, she's super sweet. Texas Library Association. Oh my God, the line was so long. I mean, that's a perfect show for her. And we know that ALA, a lot of people are going to benefit from meeting her because it's a great story. And she obviously knows what she's talking about. And so
people came up and they were like, Brownsville, I'm from there. I didn't know about this. And so it's really cool. She wants to start a campaign to make the football field named after her. So
after the woman.
Yeah, after Tylene Wilson, the woman in the story. Yeah.
More untold stories. It's amazing. It's amazing what's out there that has not been explored fully.
Yeah, and
so
it's just
that's
girl
exciting.
power.
Yeah.
Speaking of girl power, may I go next?
Yeah.
All right, then, if you insist. Jason Porath. He is the author of Rejected Princesses, and now he returns with another inspiring and fully illustrated guide about fierce mothers in history. And this is called Tough Mothers, Amazing Stories of History's Mightiest Matriarchs. I'm holding pages open for a second. So, here he... this is a really cool book. So he's going to be at the American Library Association. There's Artists Alley, which is, I'm not sure if it's in or outside of the exhibit hall, but he's got a table there. But he'll also be at the HarperCollins booth signing copies from 9 to 10 on Monday, I believe. Can you check that?
Saturday, yes.
How'd you know that?
Has
it printed in his brain. Yeah. Yes, that's right. It's the first thing. That's right. Friday night from 5 to 7:30 or 5:30 to 7 is like a sneak peek at everything all the publishers have, and then right out the gate on Sunday morning. That's right, Chris. Thanks. 9 o'clock Saturday morning. He's going to be signing books in the HarperCollins booth. So this is this beautifully illustrated profile of 50 women from history: mothers, grandmothers, godmothers, women who. It's not just women who are. The fierce defenders of their children, but they're fierce defenders of social causes. So it's sort of across the board, So, and so he profiles these women, and So here's Bella Abzug, right? So this is the first woman to run. So I'm reading. First woman to run on a major party presidential ticket in the United States. She was the Democrats' candidate for vice president in 1984 elections. I always thought Bella Abzug was so cool. Remember her? She was just an amazing, strong, fierce woman. So here's the information about her, and then it's beautifully illustrated, almost like an illuminated manuscript. That's the feel that he's going for. And so not only do you get this is not a kid's book, FYI. I mean, this is an adult book, and there's some stuff in here that that proves that it's an adult book, because he has a legend over here. I don't know if you can see this. Over here, he has a legend that indicates the level of different issues that are covered in the description of this particular person. So, for instance, for Bella Abzug, there's a C for child loss, because that's covered, and then there's a level of maturity. So, in the beginning of the book, he says, hold up a second, you should know what you're about to read. So there's, it's not every entry is good for everybody. So watch it with the high schoolers even. There's levels of maturity from 1 to 5. And then below are icons that will tell you what's in the entry. So C, child loss with Bella Abzug, but also violence, abuse, sex, rape, and self-harm. So while this is a celebration of women, it's giving you the full picture, and so the full picture sometimes has obviously some things in there that may not be good for a young adult, or certainly not children. So again, while this is a beautifully illustrated book celebrating women from around the world, it's got wonderful content as well as wonderful illustrations. So he has done his job here, and let's see, Sojourner Truth, Irina Sendler, the Mirabal sisters, just a sampling, and Bella Abzug, just a sampling of the 50 women who are highlighted in this book. So that's Tough Mothers by Jason Porath. So come by and meet him at Artists Alley, or come to the HarperCollins booth Saturday morning from 9 to 10 and come meet him. He's pretty amazing. La la. Beep. They should have my mother in there. What I put her through, and she lives to tell the tale. at 92.
You
Okay.
You weren't a well-behaved child?
No, I was not.
Shocked.
But I kept her on her toes. Just what she needed after 3 kids. Okay. All right. Who's next?
Just continue with the cycle. You want to go?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I will do it. This is my last book. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm gonna shut up. All right. My book is Astounding by Alec Navala Lee. So this is kind of the definitive guide to the 4 individuals who essentially established science fiction as a legitimate genre. The subtitle is John W. Campbell, Isaac Asimov, Robert A. Heinlein, and L. Ron Hubbard and the Golden Age of Science Fiction. So this is a deep dive into those 4 individuals. Yes, you heard L. Ron Hubbard, the L. Ron Hubbard. This does a lot of things. So it explores these 4 individuals, kind of starting with John W. Campbell, who was this editor of a magazine, Astounding Science Fiction, for nearly 4 decades, from 1937 until when he passed away in 1971. And he is kind of the gravity that pulled the 3 other writers, Isaac, Robert, and L. Ron, together and collected all this crazy talent for science fiction and then kind of put it out into the mainstream. And it's again a deep dive into these 4 individuals, and it also kind of explores the role of science fiction. It does touch upon Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard's the founder of Scientology, but he did make his start as a science fiction author. Shocking? But so it's a really cool, again, I love science fiction. Isaac Asimov is kind of the guy who opened my eyes to it, and then, transferred to, Ursula Le Guin. It's such an interesting genre. Sometimes I think it's intimidating for people because it's so deep and there's so much scope. There's so many science fiction authors. But I think this is a great way to provide kind of a footing for what you're about to dive into if you do want to enter the world of science fiction. But also, if you're a longtime science fiction aficionado, this will still teach you things that you had no idea about. So I'm super excited about it. Again, it's so illuminating. He's going to be joining us on Saturday for a booth signing from 12 to 1, and then he's on a Library Reads Sci-Fi Fantasy panel from 3 to 4 that same day on Saturday. This book is coming October 23rd, so he'll be signing galleys. I think it's just an awesome cover, and again, any sci-fi fan or curious potential sci-fi fan, this is a great way to start in kind of exploring these 4 very, very influential individuals. So that's Tears, my last book to talk about.
Aw, sad.
I'm just gonna
I
bail.
only have one too. Do you want to get one more before?
Well, all right then. All right, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Defining Moments in Black History, Reading Between the Lies by Dick Gregory. All right. Well, I'm sure, as you all know, sadly, Dick Gregory passed away in August of 2017. This book is a reflection on key events from Black America, complicated history of Black America. We all know him as he was an activist. He was also an actor and a comedian, and so he talks about these events in Black history, laced with a bit of his humor, but also with no holds barred. It won a 2017 NAACP award, and the reason I'm talking about it now, other than that, it's just should be talked about for forever, is that it also won it was given the Black Caucus of the American Library Association awards books in fiction and nonfiction and poetry, and they also award each category gets an honor book, and this received an honor book in nonfiction. So they at ALA Midwinter, the committees meet to decide on the awards for books, and at ALA Annual, the awards are given. So there's lots of receptions and presentations, and so there will be the Black Caucus of the American Library Association holding their award ceremony on Sunday evening from 8 to 10. It's a terrific event, and we will be there along with Dick Gregory's agent and editor. His editor is Tracy Sherrod, and she will be there. One of them will be accepting the award on his behalf. So it's wonderful. It's unfortunate that he has passed, but it's wonderful that he was this book acknowledged and recognized and awarded from the NAACP and the Black Caucus, the ALA. Also the paperback is coming out, and it will have, I believe, some new material in it, updated material. So I'll just read you a little bit about the content of the book because I think it's important. He charts the empowering yet often obscured past of the African American experience. In his unapologetically candid voice, he moves from African ancestry and surviving the Middle Passage to modern-day protests. A captivating journey through time, this collection of provocative essays explores historical movements such as the Great Migration and the Harlem Renaissance, as well as cultural touchstones, among them Marian Anderson's performance on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and Billie Holiday's haunting delivery of Strange Fruit. It will enlighten, uplift, and entertain. So that's Defining Moments in Black History by Dick Gregory, who sadly is no longer with us, but his words live on in this book.
Okay, I've delayed it enough. I think I just really wanted to savor before I talk about this one. So Marilla of Green Gables is my last one by Sarah McCoy. It comes out in October, and I'm very excited about this book because Anne of Green Gables is my favorite book. So when I saw this, I love being in that world, and I was excited to go back. This is Marilla Cuthbert's story. So in Anne of Green Gables, she goes to live with a spinster who lives with her brother, Marilla Cuthbert, and she runs the house. She takes care of everybody, and she's really like the matriarch-ish. And so this is her story, and really it's just one line in Anne of Green Gables about her past, and Sarah took that and expanded upon it, and she really just gave her such a cool story and a voice. And we know Marilla, and she's very no nonsense. This is the way things are, and it's really how she was kind of like that as a child too. So it kind of how she got there, and she's kind of jaded in life. She lost her mother young. Her father passed away, leaving her and her brother to run their newly constructed house. She has a love interest. As we know, Gilbert Blythe in Anne of Green Gables' father, John, was her beau, as it says in the book. And this is how she met him and what happened, because you don't really get a lot of that. And but it's got a lot of politics in it. This is right around the Civil War in America, so people, escaped slaves are coming up, and kind of she gets a lot of time with them. Her aunt comes into the picture, who's her mother's twin, so that's hard because she sees her mother in her. It's really special, and I think this is going to be one you really want to know about. Even if you don't know Anne of Green Gables, that you can totally read this, and it's a great story. And she loves Ellen Montgomery, and she says she's not Ellen Montgomery. She's just there to give Marilla her due. So Sarah McCoy will be at the Bookalicious breakfast, Monday the 25th at 8:30, but she also is signing in our booth at 10:30. 10:15 to 11. So
lots of buzz about that one.
Mm-hmm.
How we doing, Mickey?
We're great. We're good. We've got maybe about 6 more minutes.
Okay, so that's good because I'm wrapping it up. I got 2 more to go.
Bring us home.
Bring it on home. The cooking gene. A Journey Through African American Culinary History in the Old South by Michael Twitty. This book came out in July, and it is this has garnered such incredible reviews. It got the trifecta. It got starred reviews from Booklist, Library Journal, and Kirkus, all raving about it. And it is he's a culinary historian, and he brings a fresh perspective to our most divisive cultural issues, race, and this is an illuminating manuscript about a memoir about Southern cuisine and food culture that traces his ancestry, both black and white, through food from Africa to America and from slavery to freedom. This is not a cookbook. This is everything else. This is his memoir. This is his tracing his roots through this this tome. Why am I speaking about this book? Other than that, this is also very important. we've got reviews from Henry Louis Gates, Carla Hall. This is going to be, he's been pegged to be the speaker at the Association for Library Collections and Technical Services, otherwise known as ALCST. Not easy with not a lot of vowels. But that is a division of the American Library Association. They so desperately wanted him, and we were so thrilled that we could get him to go and do this. So he will be addressing that group, President's Program, on Monday at 10:30 in the morning. So that is where he will be. We won't have him signing at the booth, but we'll have copies of his book at the booth. Come by and pick up a copy while supplies last. But very, very excited that he's coming here. This is a big deal. And so the last book that I am going to speak about is Harrison Scott Key. Congratulations. Who are you again? This is his second memoir because, you can never have enough. The first one was The World's Largest Man, which was about his father. And growing up in the South and not having a whole lot in common with his dad, because he didn't want to hunt and he didn't want to kill and he wanted to write, and his father couldn't make head or tail out of him, nor he the dad. And that book, The World's Largest Man, which was published in 2016, won the Thurber Prize. Now he's back with Congratulations, Who Are You Again? And this is about following your dream. Specifically him trying to follow his dream once he figured out what he wanted to do. And what he wanted to do was write. And he didn't actually know that until he read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. What he's from Mississippi, or he lives in Mississippi. He's from Tennessee. I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you. Because
close enough.
he lived in both places. So I'm not sure where he was born. I should find out. His hometown was Memphis, and he resides now in Georgia. But anyway, hilarious. If you want to get a sense of what he is like, you need to go to his website, harrisonscottkey.com, and you'll find out lots about this book, which was really wonderful and tender, and this book, which is really funny. But it's sort of also warts and all because it tells about his struggle to figure out what he wanted to do. There's a line where it says, a little-known author named Mark Twain once said, "The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why." So this is about him realizing what he wanted to do and what he had to go through to become a published author. So crappy jobs and rejections and all that other stuff, and the effect that it had on his family. But you have to go to harrisonscottkey.com because he has the funniest videos. He made a video for the HarperCollins sales division back when they launched this book, and we watched this thing. This whole group of us sitting in this meeting room watched this video, and it was hilarious. And I just watched it before, and I snort laughed at my desk. And we're in the open floor plan, so I have no privacy. But it is so funny. He's so dry, he's so Southern, and he's so self-deprecating, and you really get a sense of who he is and just how funny he is. He's not madcap. He's smart, and he's wry, and I cannot wait to meet this man. So he is going to be speaking at the United for Libraries program called The Laughs on Us, which is a great program of humorists who get up and they talk about their books and they try and make people laugh. It's kind of like an open mic night. And that's on Sunday from 5:30 to 7:30, and he'll be signing earlier that day at the HarperCollins booth from 3:30 to 4:30. On his website, Hannah Hayes wrote in Southern Living, like Flannery O'Connor meets Chuck Klosterman meets Seinfeld, Harrison Scott Key is one of Southern Gothic's great new hopes. I don't know. What else can I tell you? I don't know. He's just great. You got to check him out. So that's Congratulations, Who Are You Again? By Harrison Scott Key. And we got them all in an hour. We hope to see you all at ALA in New Orleans, where it will be quite warm. But if we don't see you, drop us a line, and we can get you some galleys or some e-galleys or whatever. Just let us know. Thank you for listening. Does anybody want to say anything, take us out?
No. No, just thanks for tuning in as always. And yeah, as Virginia said, we want to get your eyes on these books. We want your thoughts, so don't ever hesitate to contact us because that's the best thing is to get responses.
I did mention the video.
So, video again. Go check it out.
Go check it out.
LibraryLoveFest.com. We're in black and white, and it's really nutty.
Yeah.
All right. Happy trails, all. Happy summer.
Cheers.